Welcome back to Explaining Everything, the channel where we dive into the stories and mysteries behind everyday things. Today's question comes from one of our curious viewers, Shiny Squirtle 88. Thanks for the suggestion, Shiny Squirtle. You asked, how is stainless steel made? Stainless steel feels like one of those things that just exists. We use it in knives, sinks, and that one water bottle you swear you'll wash tomorrow. But how do we actually get this shiny, rust-fighting metal in the first place? Stay tuned as we melt, mix, and polish our way through the creation of stainless steel, right here on Explaining Everything. Making stainless steel is kind of like cooking. If your kitchen was a massive industrial furnace, and instead of salt and pepper, you tossed in metals that could melt your face off. The main ingredient is iron ore, the same stuff used for regular steel. But here's where it gets fancy. To make it stainless, we add chromium, usually at least 10 to 12%. Think of chromium as the superhero cape that protects the steel from rust. Without it, stainless steel would just be steel. And nobody's getting excited about a spoon made of rusty steel. But wait, there's more. Depending on the type of stainless steel, other metals like nickel, molybdenum, or manganese get thrown into the mix. It's like assembling an Avengers squad of metals. Chromium is Captain America. Nickel is Iron Man, smooth and reliable. And molybdenum is that underappreciated hero who keeps corrosion at bay. Now that we've got the ingredients, it's time to melt them down. And when I say melt, I don't mean like microwaving chocolate. I'm talking about cranking the heat up to 1,600 degrees Celsius, hot enough to roast a marshmallow into oblivion. All these metals go into an electric arc furnace, which sounds like a sci-fi weapon, but is really just a massive machine that zaps electricity through giant electrodes to generate heat. Inside, the iron, chromium, and other elements fuse together into a molten soup of future cutlery. This process can take 8 to 12 hours, which is a long time if you're impatient. Imagine waiting that long for your oven to preheat. No thanks. But it's worth it, because this is where the magic happens. All those elements bond into one uniform, rust-resistant alloy. Fun fact, a lot of stainless steel is actually made from recycled scrap metal. So that old fork you accidentally bent trying to open a can might one day return as part of your fridge door. That's what I call reincarnation with style. Once everything's molten, it's not ready just yet. The liquid steel needs a spa day. Enter the process called argon-oxygen decarburization, or AOD, if you don't feel like spitting out a tongue twister. Here's what happens. Oxygen and argon gas are blown into the molten steel. This removes excess carbon, which you definitely don't want too much of. Too much carbon makes steel brittle, like the kind of brittle that snaps when you try to pry open a stuck jar lid. Not exactly stainless superhero material. So the carbon gets reduced, impurities are skimmed off, and the alloy's composition gets fine-tuned until it hits the exact recipe needed. If the steel was a pizza, this would be the part where you make sure the toppings are perfectly balanced. Nobody wants a slice with all the pepperoni piled in one corner. At this stage, extra elements like nickel or molybdenum might be added in specific amounts. It's chemistry, but with way higher stakes. One wrong move, and instead of stainless steel, you've invented disappointment. Now comes the part where molten metal transforms into something recognizable. The purified liquid stainless steel gets poured into molds, creating solid blocks called ingots. Alternatively, modern factories use continuous casting machines, which sound like they should be in a reality TV show, but are actually just a way of producing long slabs of steel in one go. These slabs then get rolled out under massive presses, stretched thinner and thinner, like industrial Play-Doh, until they become sheets, bars, or coils, depending on what they'll eventually become. You want razor-thin sheets for cutlery. Check thick bars for machinery. Done. But we're not finished. To get that signature shiny look, the steel goes through heat treatments and pickling. And no, sadly, pickling doesn't involve cucumbers. It means bathing the steel in acid solutions to remove surface impurities. Think of it as an extreme exfoliation treatment for metal. Finally, the surface is polished to that mirror-like shine that makes you say, "Wow, I can see my face in this spoon, and I regret that haircut." It starts with iron ore and scrap, mixes with chromium and friends, melts into fiery soup, gets a gas-blasting spa day, then is cast, rolled, pickled, and polished into the rust-proof legend we know. It's a surprisingly long journey for something that ends up holding your spaghetti, but that's the beauty of it. Every time you grab a stainless steel fork, you're holding the result of extreme heat, precise chemistry, and some very shiny science. So the next time someone asks, "Why doesn't stainless steel rust?" you can smirk and say, "Because it had a makeover that even Iron Man would be jealous of." If this deep dive into stainless steel helped you learn something new, don't forget to like, subscribe, and remember, don't put it in the microwave. It's dangerous. Also, if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about, here on Explaining Everything.